Here's a quick explainer as to what to expect in this video as we kind of jump from place to place. We continued the will debossing a little bit in hopes of getting our first voidwaker piece. We do some easy clues whenever they come up because we're looking for a ham joint, and we stumble upon doing some more combat achievements. I guess at some point in the future we're going to be Grandmaster. Fresh off of completing the Doom of Mocha, we're now on to other things. Decided to do an easy clue that's been sitting in my bank for who knows how long. Just got the casket. Here comes the ham joint. Never mind. Not even a collection log. Logging into a new day, and we are back on our regular scheduled programming. We did get interrupted a little bit for a Doom of Mocha grind, but we are now moving on. We're done with it. We're green logged. We have the Avernic Treads. We have the Eye of Ayak, and we finally got the Cloth, which is the upgrade for the Tormented Bracelet. And we rolled the pet 4 times along the way. Nevertheless, today, I think we're going to go back to what we were doing before our little Doom of Mocha grind. And we're going to be going, well, first of all, we're going to be going back to Artio because I can't really show you right now, or I could try, I suppose, in the channel chat. Exclamation point, task. We're currently on a Bears task, which is actually a fresh new Bears task. And we are currently working on task number 998. If I recall correctly, I did say that we're going to skip to 1000 and then after, or not skip, but more specifically boost to 1000. And then after 1000, we're going to freely skip so that we can focus on tasks that we actually want to do, namely a Raxor. And since we had that Mocha intermission, I guess I'll just remind you, and even remind myself, right now our 2 primary goals are to obtain the Voidwaker and the Noxious Halberd. Back in the Artio cave, a small 16 Bears task. We will probably do more than 16, as I imagine we could do 16 in one trip pretty easily as long as we don't really goof up or get interrupted by a PKer. So pretty much we're going to stay here for as long as our inventory setup allows for. And who knows, maybe we'll spoon a Voidwaker piece here. We have very, very low KC at Artio, but at Calvarion we are definitely due for the Voidwaker piece there. So this was KC, just 51. I was just saying that we'd probably stay here as long as our inventory allows. And it feels like we've been here for an eternity, but we've only done 4 KC so far. I know I probably don't have the most optimal setup, but I think the Bofa is still pretty decent here. And I do have 2 crystal pieces on. But looking at my restore situation, it's not looking good. Maybe Artio will drop some though, I don't know. Had to TP out with 6 left on task. I simply just didn't get any supply drops, which I think is actually a little rare, a little unusual. I do have the 1 restore left in the inventory, but obviously I don't want to push it in case a PKer does roll up. I want to ensure that I have some prayer left. So I TP'd out, and let's resupply. We're heading back to finish off this task. 6 left. We're likely going to do more than 6 on the trip. We'll finish out the inventory, do a full trip, and hope for the blade. After that, we're going to do 1 or 2 more Slayer tasks, and we'll be at 1000 Slayer task streak. So that's going to be pretty exciting. Wrapping up the inventory on Artio KC 73, and funny enough, I was complaining about the lack of restore drops, then proceeded to get like 3-4 restore drops in a row, but we ran out of ranging potions, so that's why I decided to TP out there. Now let's go see what our next task is. For task 999, we have a quick 22 cows task, and then, well, we're gonna head back to Turael finally for our 1000th task. Seems like a long time coming, but we're finally reaching that little milestone, and then we're gonna say goodbye to our task streak. What is our 1000th task gonna be? Here we go. 28 skeletal wyverns. I kind of don't want to do that. Is this a skip angle? This might be a skip angle. We're just gonna do that. All right, give me something good. Gargoyles. I can do gargoyles. For the remaining 24 gargoyles left on task, we're going to be making our way to the Grotesque Guardians. We TP'd out, we re-geared, we're now wearing Oath Plate, with our Scythe of Iter, our freshly acquired Avernic Treads, obviously. And for our range setup, we have the blowpipe and some typical range switches, as well as the Venator bow. I understand that the Venator bow is good here, but I've actually never used it personally, so I'm not sure if I'll be using it correctly. I haven't watched a video or anything like that. I imagine you just simply have to stack the two bosses on top of each other or within range so the Venator bow bounces back and forth. We'll try to figure that out as we go. Our spec weapons, we have the Sere Gnomon Godsword for some sustain and the Dragon Claws for DPS. And of course, we have the Granite Hammer to smash to KO the bosses. Alright, let's see how this goes. Alright, first KC, we summon our Thrall. We also brought Death Charge as well. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing this correctly. Alright, let me hit the orbs real quick. Well, I got 2 out of 3. First KC, here we go. What are we getting? Some mushroom potatoes and a prayer pot. So right now, Dawn is by herself. So we can use the blowpipe, but once the other guy, Dusk, comes along, we can now stack them on top of each other. And there we go. I believe this is the optimal method. Okay, there we go. Now this is just a standard melee phase. And then I think same thing here. We want to blowpipe until they're stacked on top of each other. And then Venator bow like this. Dragon dart tips, that's pretty nice. While we're here doing our Gargoyles task, I decided that we would finish up our task at Grotesque Guardians. And while we're at Grotesque Guardians, I realized that we haven't finished the combat achievements here at this boss. We still got 3 tasks to go. One of which is Grotesque Guardian Speedrunner, which is a sub 120. I believe a long time ago I did do this on my normal account with the Scythe, but much less gear in general. Like Oath Plate didn't exist, Avernic Treads didn't exist. In fact, I think the Desert Treasure 2 rings might not have existed back then too, and certainly not the Amulet of Rancor. So with that being said, I feel like this shouldn't be too difficult. We also have Surge Potions as well, so a lot of new tech and double Death Charge. The list just goes on and on. There's a lot of things now working in my favor to do this combat achievement. So let's see if we can get it done. One more Scythe Swing. And that was a 128. Okay. 8 seconds off. Well, we'll try again. Attempt number 2. Well, it's 2 seconds faster. You know what? We're going to swap our Granite Hammer to left-click use, because I believe you do save a tick when you manually use the hammer. Perhaps 3rd time's the charm. 123, so at least we got a new PB. Well, we go again. Summon our Thrall, quick start. I'm just gonna TP out of this one. This was... I don't think I got the stack correctly there. Summon our Thrall, get our prayers up, quick start. 125. Okay, I understand some of the mistakes I'm missing now, so... Next one, next one. Here we go. Thrall, prayers on, quick start. That seems good. One more big hit, please. Dang it. 117, we got it though. Wait. Oh, there it is. I was like, that was delayed. I was like, where's the combat achievement pop-up? 121 KC, 117 PB. Now that we have the Grandmaster speed time done, there are 2 combat achievements remaining for the Grotesque Guardians. One of which is the 5 perfect KCs in a row without leaving, and the other one is 20 KCs in an instance without leaving. We're not going to be doing the 20 in an instance right now, but we are going to go and try and do the 5 perfect in a row. Here we go. Let's turn on our prayers, summon our thralls, and we're mostly going to do this boss the same, except I just realized I didn't bring my Venator bow. Well, that's awkward. It'll be fine, right? You know what? We're committing. We don't need the Venator bow. It's fine. Blowpipe's good enough. Everything is fine. I forgot the hammer. Okay, we are going to have to TP out anyways. Alright, we had the bank, we brought our Venator bow, and the Granite hammer, which is honestly the most important thing. Otherwise, we can't even secure a single KC without a hammer. But here we go. Let's try to take our time here and not make any mistakes. I did bin the Dragon Claws. We're only going to be using the Ceridome and Godsword, I think. Okay, that fail message was from a previous run, right? Pretty sure. Yeah, that was like 3 minutes ago. Okay. Oh, Granite Gloves, we get a collection log. Okay, dude, we're insane. I'll be taking those Granite Gloves. Here we go, KC number 2. We have to stay absolutely perfect here. This part, ironically, I'm scared of the most. The lightning phase. I feel like that's what's going to cost me the perfect run, if anything. Our Thrall isn't summoned right now. Oh, please. Surely we beat the DPS check. I did bin the dragon ammo. Oh. That was very close. That was very, very close. I also didn't have thralls on right there, so that didn't help. Oh, and the game is testing me. I had to manually click to that one tile right there. It was up against the wall. Alright, that is 2 out of 5. Can we get another collection log? We cannot. Oh my goodness, I just realized as our divine potions right now, I didn't bring the divine pots. Is this a reset? Because it's not so much the melee, it's the range. You know what? We're probably just going to have to deal with the orbs. It's fine. It's fine. You know, we're committed 2 out of 5 KC already. But in classic fashion, we always find something to forget to bring. We're just making things more difficult than they need to be. Well, I already failed. Alright. Alright. Reset. Here we go again. I swear I have everything I need this time. I'm fairly certain. Fairly certain. Not 100%. Surely with the Venator bow tech, we never miss the DPS check right there, right? Alright, that is 1 KC out of 5. Alright, that's KC number 2. And that is KC number 3. Oh, a prayer potion drop. That's actually very convenient. Alright, I believe that is KC number 4. Alright, 1 more to go. And we get another prayer pot for good measure too, in case that was ever an issue for us. Here we go, KC number 5. Let's quick start this time. Actually, I think I do have that set to the left click, so I don't know why I'm right clicking. No! Oh, dude, that could have been bad, because if I like stepped under right there, and it did damage to me, that's a fail right there. That was one of the misclicks of all time. Luckily, we caught it. Alright, that should be it, right? Assuming we counted correctly. There we go. Perfect Grotesque Guardians 2. That's 5 points right there. Now, we do have 1 task remaining, like I said, but we don't even have the number left on task to even go for this one. So we'll revisit that one another time. Let me just pull it up one more time. That's going to be Till Dawn, and that's just 20 KC in an instance. Honestly, that one's going to be a lot less pressure. Perhaps maybe a little bit of good RNG getting food drops and supply drops and whatnot. But we don't have to play perfect for 20 KC, so that one's going to be less pressure. Alright, I guess with the 7 Gargoyles task left, we're going to do more of this boss. But I'm going to go and re-gear in a more average setup, and then finish up this 1000th Slayer task. So here I am a few KCs later working on finishing the Slayer task. We just have 4 left. And in the previous phase, I realized my Venator bow was on accurate. Now that has me wondering, how long has it been on accurate? Did I do the Grandmaster speed time with my Venator bow on accurate? Final KC of the task. There it is. 1,000 tasks completed. We get 750 points. What's our loot? Honestly, I don't even really care about the loot. I'll take the granite dust though. End of an era. We previously never Turael or Aya skipped on this account before. We always did tasks to the best of our abilities and then used points to cancel tasks whenever we didn't want to do something. But it's the end of an era. 1,000 tasks completed. 150 gargoyles right there. 50,000 Slayer EXP. I guess like a lot from the boss too, I suppose. Well, let's go see what our next task is. And our next task is Dust Devils. I don't know. At this point, I'm a little indifferent about. I guess I'll knock it out real quick. Dust Devils task complete. What's next? 164 blood velts. Well, I believe it's time. We are not doing this blood velts task. We're not spending points to cancel this task. Oh, I have a smoke devils task in storage. I wonder how long I've had that in there. But yeah, we are not doing this blood velts task. It is time to part ways officially with our task streak. Not all task streaks are created equal, and my 1001 Slayer task streak was something that was cooking up since the beginning of this account, which by now is like over 2 years ago, maybe over 3 even, who knows, but it's time to part ways with it. Oh, I don't want to go into the menu there. I just want to talk to Aya. I'm still hunting blood velts, 164 to go. Yes, goodbye to my streak officially. 17 dogs task. I don't think I can do this anywhere interesting. I believe last time I tried doing a dogs task at Calvarion because there are skeletal hellhounds. I don't think it counted. I could be misremembering, but I don't think it counted. So we're just going to knock this one out real quick in the desert. Had to do a few Aya tasks, but now we picked up a skeleton task. And we are back at Calvarion. Before the whole Mocha session that we had, or it was more than a session, it was a whole detour. We were very much camping the wildy bosses, Calvarion especially. We'll see what our KC is at now in just a second. But yeah, Skeleton's task, and like Artio, we're going to be staying here for the full trip even when our Slayer task is done. In fact, this Slayer task is going to end very quickly, as each Calvarion KC is actually 5 skeletons. So realistically, if we were only here for the task, we would be done in like 4 KC. First KC of the trip, we get ourselves a rune pickaxe, the classic. We have a ton of those. And that was KC 2264. So yeah, still no voidwaker piece from here. And I'm trying to remember the drop rate off the top of my head. It might be like a 1 in 912. I'll have to look that up. After a quick glance at the wiki, it is indeed a 1 in 912. So our luck here for the blade is not so great right now. But I do believe when we do get the blade, we will have green logged Calvarion and Vedion. Ain't no way we get another skull of Vedion. Let's check the collection log real quick. KC 2271. I say another because I do remember getting one relatively recently. Okay, I can't look at the collection log. We'll look at it in a second. Just finished the KC. We're trying to speedrun to find the collection log. Vedion and Calvarion, Vedion and Calvarion. That was KC 2271. That is our 3rd skull of Vedion. Unfortunate. After 30-40 minutes at Calvarion, a PKer showed up and kicked me out of the area. So we continue on with picking up new Slayer tasks. We got an Iron Dragons task, which we are most definitely not doing. So what's our next small task going to be? 20 Ice Fiends. Okay. Through one of our Aya tasks, we managed to get an easy clue. And because we have absolutely no discipline or want to have delayed gratification, I think is the word we're looking for, I'm going to open this casket right now. And I regret it. Your treasure is worth around 436 coins. Another day, another Artio task, and this is mildly annoying, but it looks like I have to finish this one. Someone TP'd out mid-kill, probably a PKer ran through or something. Artio KC 77, we just got a long bone. Oh my god, I'm about to get meleeed. So here I am, this is the last KC on the bears task here. And traditionally, I like to just finish out my inventory and do as many KC as I can before TPing out. But right now, it is a Saturday, and I already did have to TP out because a PK showed up. And this guy wanted to be all smart as well. I was able to get the instant teleport out when he came in to try and teleblock me. I managed to TP out. I didn't think much of it, and I ran back to the Enclave and made my way back towards the entrance. But apparently he was out there waiting for me, and as I exited the Enclave, he teleblocked me and proceeded to chase me to the Wildy ditch line. Obviously, I didn't die though, but I mean, that was like a whole 5 minutes wasted. So yeah, I think we're just gonna go look for a Raxor task. We ended up doing quite a bit of task skipping, but we were never able to pick up an Araxite task. I haven't seen one in ages, which is incredibly weird to me because, if I'm not mistaken, the Araxite task is equal weighting to Abyssal Demons, and they are both very, very high, or heavily weighted, I should say. But yeah, no Araxite task just yet. We did pick up an interesting task, however, and we'll be working on that in the next video.